Leo, let's be honest right from the beginning. This Monday, September 22nd, is not going to be just another day circled on your calendar. It carries the vibration of a big miracle, and if you are here listening to these words, it's because something inside you already knows this. You might not have all the details yet, but your intuition has been whispering that change is coming, that something beyond your usual routine is waiting to be revealed. This video is not here to entertain you for a few minutes and disappear. It is here to remind you that the life you deserve is finally arriving and that you have the choice to step into it with both hands open. Leo, maybe you have felt stuck in repetition, like you have been paying your dues for too long without seeing the return. Maybe you have been carrying the weight of other people's expectations, or maybe you've been questioning whether the universe actually notices your effort. I want you to hear me clearly. The universe has been watching, and this week, starting on Monday, everything begins to reset. It is a cosmic recalibration, a moment designed for you to break through the old limitations and breathe in something new. This isn't just astrology on paper, it's energy moving in your favor, waiting for you to claim it. Leo, I know Mondays can feel heavy. Most people see them as obligations, routines, and to-do lists. But this Monday is different. Think of it as a doorway rather than a deadline. The planets are aligning in such a way that your personal light, which you may have dimmed for too long, has a chance to shine again. You're not here by accident. You pressed play because you were guided, because your higher self wanted a reminder that the story isn't over. You are stepping into a new chapter where luxury, freedom, and joy are not dreams far off in the distance but experiences you can finally touch. Leo, let me bring this closer to home. Think about the times you almost gave up, when your efforts didn't seem to matter, when others couldn't see your worth. Those were not wasted moments. They were preparation, sharpening your strength and shaping your resilience. The reason this Monday matters is because it marks the end of the waiting. It signals the point where the energy you have invested starts to return to you. You will not need to chase or beg. You will simply stand in your truth, and what belongs to you will find its way home. Leo, I invite you to take this message personally. It isn't meant for everyone. Not everyone will resonate, but you did, and that's proof enough that you are ready. So I want you to ground this truth by interacting with it. Write a comment below and say, I am ready for my big miracle this Monday, September 22nd. This isn't just a gesture, it's an energetic agreement, a way of saying yes to what the universe is already lining up for you. Let your words be the key that unlocks the door. Leo, before we go further, let me pause and offer gratitude. Thank you for being here, for sharing your presence in this space. Every time you engage, every like, every comment, every subscription, you are not only supporting this channel, you are also reinforcing your own commitment to growth, to awareness, and to aligning with what is true for you. Your energy doesn't just sit quietly, it creates ripples that allow messages like this to reach more people who need them. And that means your presence here matters more than you may realize. Leo, stay with me until the very end because what I will share is not surface-level prediction. It is a roadmap to understanding how this shift will play out for you. I promise you that by the time we reach the closing of today's message, you will feel not just informed, but inspired, and not just inspired, but ready to act. This Monday is not random. It is an invitation, and the only question left is, will you walk through the door that is opening? Leo, this Monday is not just the start of another week. It is the opening of a doorway, and when you step through, you will feel as though the story you have been carrying is ready to be rewritten. The sun shifts into Libra, and that movement alone tells us something important. The balance you have been craving is no longer a distant hope, it is becoming a living force around you. Libra energy is about dialogue, cooperation, and justice, but beneath the surface it is also about restoring what has been uneven in your life. If you have felt like you've been giving more than receiving, speaking but not being heard, this alignment invites you to claim your place in the conversation of your own destiny. At the same time, the moon passes through Scorpio, and this adds another layer to what you will feel. It is like shining a light deep inside the rooms you usually keep closed. Old emotions, attachments, even hidden fears, they rise to the surface not to punish you, but to be cleansed. Imagine pouring clear water into a cup filled with dust. At first, it looks messy, the particles floating everywhere. But if you wait, the water settles, and what was murky becomes clear. That is what this Scorpio moon will do for you. It will stir what's been hidden, so you can finally breathe in clarity instead of carrying the sediment of old stories. And then there is Venus squaring Saturn. Many hear the word square and feel fear, but this is not about disaster. This is about truth. Venus asks, what do you truly value? Saturn asks, what will you no longer compromise? Together, they form a mirror you cannot avoid. The relationships that drain you, the habits that keep you small, the promises you made to yourself but broke, all of these will stand before you. It is a test, yes, but not one designed to make you fail. It is an invitation to choose yourself in a way you may not have dared to before. When you choose from truth, the love and stability you have longed for stop being conditions you chase and start becoming the ground you walk upon. Think of this Monday as a threshold moment. You are not simply checking off tasks on a list. You are being given the chance to set down what no longer serves and pick up what feels like alignment. If you picture your life as a book, then this Monday does not begin a new chapter, it begins a whole new volume. The old one is complete, and whether you laughed, cried, or struggled through it, it has been written. What matters now is the pen in your hand. This moment also asks you to pause and breathe. Too often, we rush into the week as if running on autopilot. But here, life invites you to stand still for a second and notice the transition. Just as breath enters, fills, and leaves, so too do experiences. Nothing clings forever. The air teaches us that release is natural, and holding on too tightly is what creates suffering. In that stillness, you will see that letting go is not losing. It is opening. And when you open, you allow the miracle that is already waiting to step inside. So, Leo, this Monday is not about obligation. It is about recognition. Recognition of your worth, recognition of your path, recognition that the universe is not silent. You are being guided into a space where balance, depth, and truth align. And if you allow yourself to trust this timing, you will not just start another week, you will begin living in a new frequency that honors who you have always been meant to become. Leo, as this new week opens with the shift on September 22nd, it carries a tone that feels different from the ordinary rhythm you've known. It is not just another Monday, it is the start of a week where the air itself feels richer, lighter, and full of possibility. When we talk about luxury in this sense, it isn't about possessions lined up on a shelf or numbers in a bank account, though those things may come. It is about the breath you take without the weight of obligation pressing on your chest. It is about the freedom to wake in the morning and choose from a place of clarity instead of duty. Imagine walking into a room where all the windows have been opened wide. That first deep inhale is the taste of this week. This kind of luxury is the freedom to say, I choose what nourishes me, rather than, I must do what drains me. And that shift changes everything. It is the difference between living as though you are always catching up and living as though you are setting the pace. When you realize that the most powerful form of wealth is choice itself, you stop chasing and start building. That is why the energy of this week feels like a reset button, one that clears out the noise and brings you back to the truth that every yes and every no you speak has the power to shape your path. The numbers of this day also tell their own story. 22, the day itself, holds the vibration of the master builder in numerology. It speaks of foundations, of structures that are not only solid but meant to last. Paired with the month of September, the 9th month, there is a sense of completion and preparation for a new cycle. Add together 22 and 9 and you reach 31, which reduces to 4, the number of stability, balance, and the order that makes growth possible. This is not coincidence. It is the mathematics of energy reminding you that this is a time to construct, to design your reality with intention rather than leaving it to chance. Think of yourself as an architect standing on open ground. You hold the blueprints in your hands, and the materials are arriving now. Will you build a structure that cages you in, or one with wide windows and open doors that let the light pour through? That is the invitation of this week. Luxury is not in how tall the walls are, it is in how freely the air moves within them. The choices you make now about where your money goes, how you spend your time, and what thoughts you allow to guide you are the beams and bricks of your future. To work with this energy, begin simply. Take time at the start of the week to sketch out your financial plan, not in fear but in confidence. Allocate your resources with the belief that there is more than enough flowing in, and let that certainty guide your decisions. Shape your schedule so that it reflects your priorities, not just your obligations. And each morning, give yourself the gift of writing one affirmation that declares who you are becoming. I breathe in freedom. I welcome abundance with ease. I choose joy without guilt. Words shape energy, and energy shapes reality. It may feel subtle at first, but these practices anchor you into the frequency that this week is offering. When you consistently act as though stability, freedom, and abundance are already part of your life, you send a signal so strong that the external world begins to align with it. The breath becomes deeper, the steps more grounded, and the opportunities clearer. That is how luxury arrives, not as a sudden windfall, but as a steady stream of choices that lift you into a life where the extraordinary feels natural. So breathe deeply, Leo. Let this week be the one where you recognize that luxury is not reserved for a select few, but is a state you enter when you live in alignment with your values and your truth. September 22nd is not just a date on the calendar, it is the marker of a new chapter where stability and freedom are not hopes, but lived experiences. The doors are opening wide. Walk through them with the confidence of someone who knows they were always meant to lead. Leo, your heart has always been the center of your power, but it is easy to forget that when the noise of daily life pulls you in every direction. You know what it feels like to be admired, to have people expect strength from you, yet the truth is that the flame inside you burns not just to impress others, but to guide yourself first. This Monday, the energy asks you to pause long enough to ask two simple but life-shaping questions. Who am I? How do I want to live? They sound like big, almost overwhelming questions, but when you let your heart speak instead of your mind, the answers become much clearer than you expect. This moment carries the energy of the Sun and the Hierophant in the tarot. The Sun is the card of illumination, joy, and unapologetic self-expression. It reminds you that your light was never meant to be hidden, that authenticity is the source of both your happiness and your influence. The Hierophant, on the other hand, speaks of structure, tradition, and wisdom gained through discipline. When these two energies come together, they tell a story of setting new inner laws, rules that honor your true self, not the borrowed voices of others. It's as if you're being invited to rewrite your personal constitution, replacing outdated rules of self-doubt with declarations of courage and clarity. Think about how often you silence your heart with practicality or fear. How many times have you known what you wanted but chose otherwise to avoid disappointing someone else? The practice now is to return to the center and listen again. Your heart is not reckless, it is precise. It knows exactly what feeds your spirit and what diminishes it. The challenge is not in knowing but in trusting. Just as fire needs both air and space to burn, your heart needs your permission to lead. Without it, the flame dims, and you find yourself living in shadows that don't belong to you. One powerful way to work with this energy is through simplicity. Write down 3 things your heart truly longs for. Do not judge them, do not analyze whether they are realistic, just let them flow from the deepest part of you. You might be surprised by how different they are from the goals you usually list when asked about the future. This exercise is not about logic, it is about honesty. And once you have those 3 truths in front of you, take one small step toward them today. It does not need to be grand. It might be a single phone call, a shift in how you spend your morning, or even the decision to finally release a weight you have carried too long. There is a teaching that says the heart is like a lamp. When covered, its light cannot be seen, but when uncovered, it naturally shines without effort. That is exactly what this week is offering you, the chance to remove the coverings and let your heart's radiance guide the way. You do not need to force it. All you need is to stop silencing it. And when you do, you will notice that others begin to see more clearly too, because your courage becomes their permission. Your fire is not just for you, it lights the path for those who are walking behind you. So, as this week begins, let your values reset with intention. Instead of asking, "What should I do?" shift to, "What feels true to my heart?" That subtle shift changes the entire quality of your decisions. The sun illuminates what brings joy, the Hierophant reminds you to give it form and discipline. Together, they create a life where passion and structure coexist, where your flame burns not only brightly but steadily. Let this be the week you trust your heart again, because it has never stopped guiding you, it has only been waiting for you to listen. Leo, when we speak about this Monday, September 22nd, it isn't simply about a calendar date, it is about a doorway into clarity. You are stepping into a day that offers you the rare opportunity to cut ties with the weight that no longer belongs to you. This is not about rejecting your past or blaming those who shaped you, but about finally choosing what you will carry forward and what you will set down. Imagine yourself riding the lion across a dark valley. If you believe you are trapped in a cage built by someone else's fear, you will never move. But when you remember that you are the rider, not the prisoner, the darkness becomes a passage instead of a prison. That is the essence of this day, choosing movement over stagnation, freedom over confinement. There is a kind of luxury that comes from clearing space. Too often, we imagine abundance as adding more goals, more commitments, more effort. But the energy of this Monday whispers a different truth. Abundance begins with subtraction. When you let go of the habits that drain you, the relationships that cage you, and the thoughts that constantly tell you, you can't, you suddenly find the room to breathe, to create, and to invite in what genuinely supports you. Clearing is not emptying, it is preparing. Just like a gardener who pulls the weeds before planting seeds, you are preparing your inner soil for growth that actually lasts. You can start small. Choose one corner of your home that has been neglected. Clean it, organize it, and pay attention to how you feel afterward. That act is not just about tidying a physical space. It is a mirror for what happens within. When you make order in your environment, you send a signal to your subconscious that says, I am ready to release clutter, I am ready to choose again. And that readiness ripples outward. It is remarkable how often a simple act like clearing a drawer or letting go of an old object coincides with clarity about a decision, or even the courage to walk away from something that has been holding you back. Another practice is to write down what you are ready to release. Begin with the words, I let go of, and let the truth come out. Do not filter or soften it. If it is a belief that has haunted you, write it. If it is a relationship dynamic that has kept you small, put it on the page. When you see the words in front of you, the invisible becomes visible, and what was hidden in your body and mind is now named. Then write the words, I choose again, and declare what you want in its place. This is not about wishing for a perfect life, it is about claiming alignment. Each choice is a thread, and together they weave a reality that finally feels like your own. To support this process, you can call on tools that help settle your energy. Protective stones like black tourmaline or smoky quartz can absorb the heaviness that sometimes rises when you confront what no longer serves you. Burning sage can shift the atmosphere, making your space feel lighter. Even listening to 432 Hz tones while you sleep allows your body and mind to reset on a frequency that calms instead of agitates. These are not gimmicks. They are reminders that your energy field is as real as your physical body, and tending to it is just as important. There is a lesson hidden in this process, one that echoes across traditions of wisdom. Freedom does not come from adding more chains of responsibility. It comes from loosening the ones that no longer fit. It is not about discarding everything, but about refining. In the same way that a sculptor chips away at the excess marble to reveal the figure within, you are carving away the layers of doubt and obligation to reveal the self that was always there. And in that revealing, there is strength, there is direction, and there is a sense of finally stepping onto ground that feels steady under your feet. So, as this Monday begins, do not rush past it. Let it be a pause, a recalibration. See yourself not as someone trapped by the old definitions others gave you, but as the rider of the lion, bold enough to cross valleys and wise enough to release what weighs too much. This is how you start again, not with exhaustion, but with choice. And when you choose from clarity, the week ahead will not feel like a repetition of the past, it will feel like a beginning you've been waiting for. Leo, once the doorway of Monday has been crossed, the days that follow carry a current that feels steady, full, and deeply alive. This entire week hums with the promise of prosperity, and not only in the sense of material gain. Prosperity is a vibration, a frequency you step into, and when you live inside of it, opportunities and resources flow more naturally toward you. From September 22nd through the end of the week, you may notice unexpected chances appearing, a project moving forward more quickly than you thought, a conversation with someone in authority who finally sees your value, or a door opening that had been closed for months. These shifts are not coincidences, they are reflections of the inner alignment you have been cultivating. What matters now is not whether you notice the wave of prosperity, but how you ride it. Imagine the week as a river with a strong current. If you resist or thrash against it, you tire yourself out. If you float with awareness, you are carried further with less effort. That is the lesson this energy offers. Allow abundance to move toward you, but also position yourself wisely so that when it comes, you are ready. One practical way to do this is through conscious money management. Prosperity is not only about what arrives, it is also about what you do once it's in your hands. Techniques like the 6-jar method, where you divide your income into categories for essentials, savings, education, play, long-term investments, and generosity, can give structure to the flow. Another practice is what I call Money Date Monday. Set aside time at the start of each week to look at your finances, not with fear, but with respect. Just like you would nurture a relationship by spending time with someone you care about, you nurture prosperity by paying attention to it. Yet prosperity is never only about money. It is also about the relationships that feed your spirit. This week, if you are with someone you love, consider how simple gestures at the start of the week can reset the tone for days to come. A thoughtful message on Monday morning, a kind act that shows presence, can breathe warmth back into what may have felt routine. And if you are on your own, remember that nurturing yourself with the same attention is just as important. Prosperity in love does not begin with another person. It begins with the willingness to treat yourself as someone worthy of care. Your body, too, is part of this new frequency. Carrying prosperity requires energy, and energy is best sustained when the vessel is clear. Something as simple as drinking warm water with lemon each morning for 5 days can reset your system, supporting digestion, cleansing gently, and giving you a sense of lightness. This is not about extremes or punishment, it is about creating space for vitality to rise. When your body feels lighter, your mind also becomes more open, and with that openness, ideas and opportunities can be received without resistance. Even colors play a role in anchoring this vibration. Surround yourself with tones of champagne gold, ruby red, and deep navy. These shades are not random. Gold mirrors abundance and the warmth of sunlight, red carries the pulse of vitality and courage, navy holds the depth of wisdom and stability. Wearing or surrounding yourself with these colors is like tuning your environment to match the frequency of prosperity. It reminds you each day of the qualities you are inviting into your life. Prosperity is not about chasing or clinging. It is about learning to breathe within a new rhythm, to live as if the good you desire is already present and unfolding. The week ahead will test you in subtle ways, whether you fall back into old habits of scarcity or whether you dare to claim the steadiness of abundance. Each choice, whether in how you handle your money, how you show love, or how you treat your body, will either reinforce the old story or support the new one. So let this week be your practice ground. Notice what comes, but also notice how you respond. Celebrate even the smallest signs of progress, because they are proof that the current is carrying you forward. And above all, keep choosing from the place of knowing that prosperity is not a moment but a frequency, one you can breathe into and live inside of day by day. This is the life you have been preparing for, and this week is your chance to finally step fully into it. Leo, as we come to the close of this message, I want you to pause and let it settle. You are not simply starting another Monday, you're stepping into a cycle that carries the weight of a whole new chapter of your soul. Think about it, though many Mondays have slipped by in your life feeling routine, predictable, almost invisible. And yet, here you are, on the edge of a moment that feels different. Why? Because deep inside, you know this is not just about dates on a calendar. This is about you reclaiming authorship of your own story. What would happen if you treated this Monday as the first page of a script you finally get to write on your own terms? Would you still allow old fears to dictate the plot, or would you dare to let courage be the main character? Imagine looking back weeks from now and realizing that this was the day you stopped living by someone else's rules and began listening to your own inner rhythm. That is what the universe is opening for you, the chance to breathe differently, to act differently, and to live from a place of alignment instead of survival. I know the world often tells you that change must be big, dramatic, or immediate. But let me tell you, true transformation begins in whispers. It begins in the moment you say, "I choose again." It begins in clearing one corner of your home, in writing down one affirmation, in deciding to show kindness instead of withdrawing. These may look small, but they are acts of power because they set the tone for everything that follows. You are not powerless in your story, you are the one holding the pen. The question is, what kind of story will you write from here? Let your heart guide you, because it has been waiting far too long to be heard. This week asks you to trust it, to honor its desires without apology. When you do, your light doesn't just shine, it spreads. And when your light spreads, it touches the people who need it most: your family, your friends, your community, even strangers who cross your path. You become not only the writer of your destiny but also a source of healing and inspiration for others. Isn't that the truest form of abundance? To live fully, and in doing so, give others permission to do the same. So, Leo, I leave you with this. Are you ready to rise into this new week not as the person who has been carrying the past, but as the soul who is ready to claim the future? Are you ready to step into the rhythm of prosperity, balance, and renewal that is already waiting for you? If so, write it down, declare it, speak it into existence. Comment below and let me know. I am ready to shine starting this Monday. Type 888 if you welcome prosperity, 444 if you choose stability, and 999 if you are closing an old cycle with courage. Your words are more than symbols, they are energy, and when shared, they amplify. Thank you for spending this time with me, for showing up with an open heart, and for allowing eternal mindfulness to be a part of your journey. Every like, every comment, every subscription is not just support, it is a bond that allows these transformative messages to reach further and lift higher. From the bottom of my heart, I am grateful. Stay until the very end of this week, because the universe has much more to reveal, and trust me, you will not want to miss a moment of what's about to unfold.